Hello everyone, my name is Marian Andre and today we're taking this beautiful BMW X6M with a competition package for a test drive. It looks stunning with black exterior, those black details around the front grille, BMW laser lights, huge wheels. We're gonna talk about those a bit later, but looking from the front you can see that it doesn't have any active front grille. Everything is wide and open, and you can see radiators everywhere. So on those side grills, the big one, which is like so big I can fit my hand in there. And yeah, it does look nice with this competition package. We have the X6M logo here with the black tint, black covers. It's easy to it doesn't look like a standard X6, so it's easy to make it stand out. We have 21-inch alloys on the front with floating disc brakes, 6 pistons on that brake setup there. We have steel discs, and that center hub there is made of aluminium. So when you drive this car on a circuit, those material contract differently, so it can work at higher temperatures than a normal ventilated disc brake, fixed one. And we have Pilot Sport 4S, which these tires are made especially for SUVs. That's why you have this S here, and they are 295 by 35 by 21. And moving to the back, we have a 22-inch alloy with 315 with 30 with 22. So it's a bit bigger here. Some say it's because of aesthetics, some say because it offers a bigger tire contact with the asphalt, so when you're accelerating hard, all of the weight of the car moves to the back. It works in Formula 1, but I don't think it works so well on an SUV, so that's why my opinion is that this alloy here is bigger because of the looks. Otherwise, it's that standard X6 on the side, but we have the M-type mirrors with this nice winglet there that has an aerodynamic roll. And moving to the back, we have this little spoiler here, 2 bigger ones here, and the X6M competition logo, really nice here. The back, I'm still not a fan of this back design, but it looks aggressive. Some people might like it, especially if you play with a soccer ball from time to time and you make lots of money. And we have a rear diffuser, which is not it's there for the looks. It doesn't have any aerodynamic roll. And we have the quadruple tail pipes, so that's a M signature, which yeah, stands apart, but it doesn't make the sound I was expecting of this car. I think the M5 sounds a little bit better, but because of EU regulation, this car sounds a little too quiet, let's say, especially when you compare it with the US version, which sounds more aggressive. Also, with this competition comes this black surroundings for the window, and yeah, with this, I think it's Marina blue, something like that. This color, it looks quite okay. Now let's pop the hood, see what's in there. We have sort of the M5 drivetrain with slight differences. For instance, you cannot make this car go only rear-wheel drive. It's only 4-wheel drive with the 4-wheel drive sport setup. Something different here. We have this metal mesh, which makes the car more rigid, especially in the front side, and we have those let's say pipes there. But I think I've sold these before on other X6s, but yeah, this is different. And also what we have different, this is an option that costs about 1,200 euros. It's this carbon fiber engine cover, which weighs about 300 grams, I guess. And this is a pro finish of it. And on this other side, it's It's nice and shiny and looks and feels expensive and very light. But of course it's here for the looks and to take your money, because having this engine cover doesn't save you any weight on a 2.3 ton car. So 4.4 V8 engine with two turbos, twin screw ones. So this is one, this is the other one, and they are mounted in the V. So that makes the air circulation a little bit shorter and faster, so you get better engine response when you press the gas pedal, lower turbo lag, better thermal control. But here I've only turned on the engine for like 5 minutes or so and did a short run here, and the engine is really hot, so I just can't keep my hand on this carbon fiber cover. That's why you have all of these radiators here, because this engine needs a lot of cooling. Another cool thing is that the engine is mounted very low, so you can keep the center of gravity closer to the asphalt, closer to the road, so this car feels more neutral and agile. Yeah, for an SUV it does feel really fast and agile, and it can be really precise on corners, and that's why I respect this car. Not because it's fast and so on. I respect this car because what the engineers were capable to do with this kind of car is it's magical. You shouldn't buy this car because it's useless in so many ways, but I have huge respect for the engineers that made this car possible, because it's not easy to make a 2.3 ton car accelerate in less than 3.8 seconds, 3.7 for this competition one, to 60 or 100 kilometers per hour, 60 miles per hour, and also do well in turns. So on circuit, if you want to drive this car on a circuit, it can handle that, but of course with huge effort from the tires and the brakes, which are really nice, floating brakes, as I've said, huge ones actually. And there's a setup tuning even for the brake pedal. Inside you have the same X6 design layout, but we have some different stuff. So we have this M steering wheel, a true one with M color stitching here. We have the M1 and M2 buttons, which they don't do anything in particular other than change your driving mode. It's like a shortcut button, like a hotkey, let's say. So M1 for me is efficient, comfort for brake, steering, chassis, and engine. And then I have the M2 one, which is the hardcore button, so it can go from efficient to sport plus for engine, chassis, steering, and brake. So the brake pedal feels much more responsive. Also here we don't have the coolant, the liquid temperature. We have the oil one, which is really nice. And then also we have some nice extra soft materials here. We have the seat belt with the M color stitching here. We have sport seats with 20 type of adjustments you can do on it. We also have the X6M logo lightning there. We also have here the X6M competition, so you will never forget what kind of car you're driving. No handles for the passengers or for the driver, so you have to hold on to your life when the driver is moving this car really fast. The driving position is really nice, so it feels just like at home. I'm sitting just a little bit higher than an M5, and it's really easy to find your perfect driving position. Lots of carbon fiber here. You can also pick other materials, but I do prefer the carbon fiber one, which we have on the door panel, here on the dashboard, here on the center console, and also a really nice touch. We have the X6M competition logo also here, so as I've said before, it's really easy to not forget what kind of car you're driving. Here on the center console, we have a different layout, different buttons from a standard X6. So yeah, that's how it sounds like. For gear selector, we have a different layout. So going in reverse, you have to push the gear knob to the left and forwards. So now you have reverse engage, so now I can see the camera. Then I have neutral, and when I push to the side I have drive. So this one now works in automatic, and I can select here how late or how early to do the gear changes and how strong you feel them. And also pushing it again on the right side, I get manual, so you can see the plus and the minus going up. Push it towards me, move it towards me, and if I want to downshift, just put it in towards the dashboard. So I also now have a P button, the park button, which was a complaint before. Now it's here, and I also have these paddles behind the steering wheel, which they don't feel that expensive. This is a car that costs more than 150,000 euros, so $165,000, and yeah, this is the kind of gear knobs the paddle shifter you get, the same one as on first 1 series, or let's say. We don't have Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport. We have M mode set up, and for the exhaust, if I want to make it louder, so M mode, let's put it in home. So M mode, I have 3 options here: road, sport, and track. So for the track, I have to hold the button, and then I have to activate track, and now this screen is turned off. I have a huge head-up display there where I can see the revs, and also I have this different layout here, and I also can see the tire temperature and the tire pressure, which is really nice, especially if you're driving on a circuit. And yeah, that's about it. That's what's different inside of the X6M competition. It feels like a BMW with some extra details here and there. It's a nice car to drive, and about driving we'll talk about a little bit later. Now it's time to drive. Bit of torque steer. So 625 horsepower, 4.4 V8 biturbo, 750 newton meters of torque, and the engine works with a 8-speed ZF gearbox. It's a classic configuration. It's not dual clutch transmission or sequential like we had on the older BMW M5, and both work absolutely fantastic. I'm amazed of how fast this gearbox can change, and it feels just like a dual clutch transmission one, except that you don't get you don't get the same kick like you had on the SMG type of gearbox. Right now we're cruising at 100 kilometers per hour. Everything is in efficient, comfort, and so on, and it feels quite okay, enjoyable. The suspension is not too aggressive, but I can also switch to a more sporty setup. So now I can hear something from the exhaust. The engine responds a little bit faster, and I can also do let's do an acceleration. Let's overtake the old Skoda Octavia in front. 5th gear. Yep, pulls really nice. But the sound comes from the speakers, which disappoints me a little bit. Again, I can hear the turbos. Really nice sound from time to time. Some blips as we downshift. And now the accelerated a little bit harder in a lower gear. So yeah, this car can pull really well, and also I'm impressed by how good it feels when I'm driving. So now you can see some footage of the car from outside. of how well stays on the road. We have huge tires, really well configured suspension setup, and it feels like a proper M car. But I don't know where its limit is, so that can be quite deceiving when you're driving fast, because you never know when it's gonna bite you back. Otherwise, if you drive it normally like we do, it does feel like an X6. Maybe it dances a little bit more on the road than a standard one, but it's quite comfortable even on longer journeys. I did quite a few miles with this car, and I'm impressed of its comfort, because don't forget, it's still a sporty car. It's a car that can put some supercars to shame. It accelerates to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.8 seconds, 3.7 if you have the competition package, which costs about 11,000 euros. So we have a lower suspension setup, the car sits a little bit lower, we have 25 extra horsepower and a different engine management. We have an active limited slip differential that can choose where to send the power among the rear wheels, and it's a proper track tool, this car. But I don't find its I can find its purpose. Why would you want an M SUV or SAC, how BMW calls it these days? But yeah, I'm amazed of the work that the engineers did on this car. It feels proper fast, not just on straight lines or braking.